Hey, what up, my boyka? Hold on a second. What up, my boyka? Bienvenido and welcome everybody. Just getting started here. Again, I'm back. I didn't do my Funky Friday because last time I got shut down. But maybe I'm gonna try it again this Friday. Maybe tonight, probably do some nice slow jams. I don't know. Monday morning slow, Monday evening slow jams. I got some nice slow jams I've been checking out on YouTube. But again, subscribe to my YouTube. For those of you who was on my Facebook, you subscribe, share, like my YouTube channel. It's just see Los Congas. Um, I'm not going to stay on here too long because I was ready about to go take my walk. I did get out of the class. I was at the African Summit. Happens every Monday, African Summit. Anybody want to get at me? Here's my, well, you can just call me, leave me a message or whatever. Leave me a message. You can call me at that number right there. That's just dedicated to this. If you want to get a link, passcode for the African Union, not the African Union, the African Kingdom Federation, which is different than the African Union. The African Kingdom Federation is a parliament and it's recognized by the African Union. Matter of fact, the African Union supports the African Kingdom Federation, which is the queendom of the south part of the from the Congo down, but it reaches out to all the other diaspora, African diaspora. It's nice. I send it, excuse me, I send it to a few that I think it would be very powerful. Again, I'm trying to form a team here in the States so that we can do initiative. Today discussion was about a nice presentation they did about Pakistan and their involvement with the African Kingdom Federation in Pakistan. And what they did was they had a festival and they brought in eye doctors and they gave free examinations, sunglasses, and eyeglasses to the village, a particular village out there. So they go from village and village and doing this. And this is supported by the African Kingdom Federation, supported by them. So these are initiatives and agendas that here in the States, we can also embark in, you know what I'm saying? Got friends that are doing a lot with the bomba and plena, the Africanicity of the music, of the island, and how we can educate the children, take those programs to the schools, at the same time link them in with spirituality, inspire them. When I mean spirituality, I mean aspirations, inspiring them to better in life, you know what I'm saying, and certain morals and principles that we live by. You know what I'm saying? Very, very important. Very, very important. So yes, every Monday around 12 our time, because it's being it's from Johannesburg time in South Africa, but the queendom sits in Maindombe in Congo, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and that's where the castle is at. So she a lot of times get online and she you know shares her wisdom, whatever. And so a lot of work is being done in the Congo, a lot of work is done in Nigeria, in Ghana. They're going to have a big festival next week in Ghana. That's going to be broadcast on stream. I'm hopefully I can share that. If not, I'll send you the link and you can check it out. What's the work that's being done in Ghana? You know what I'm saying? Very important. And it's going to reach out to certain areas in the Arab states, the European states, especially, but I'm concerned about the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? I got to stick to what I know and I got to stick with my paradigm. You know what I'm saying? And that's with the Caribbean and also to the States, United States, when you deal with New York, the northern eastern states, you know what I'm saying? And what we can do to educate, bring this civilization, rebirth of a new civilization, you know what I'm saying, that they're speaking about. But anyway, Rauba Ma'at Seshat Re Raye Rauba. And so this recap, very interesting, very interesting, man. Let me tell you something. I don't need to be in the middle of any drama. I'm don't want it, don't need it, prefer not to be involved in any drama. And and that's the reason why, if you notice, I'm not too much on, like, for instance, Sarnetta's channel, even though he asked me to be part of the HOK Hit Squad, and I did attend two of those discussions. But have you noticed the other discussions? I'm not involved in that because they know, he knows. He knows the way I am. I'm not standing for one disrespect of Panda Bayanan. I'm not standing for the drama of what's going on between him and JJ or Judas Nash or anybody. You know what I'm saying? And this the score that's happened. I don't need to be involved in that drama. I don't get caught up in that. If you're doing it for views, you're doing it for views. You're doing it to engage yourself in that way. If that's what you want to do, I'd rather just be simple. I'd rather have no views than to have so many views and be into that drama. No, no, no. That's just not me. That'd be very hypocritical when it comes for me, sharing knowledge about antisocial beings and social beings. You know what I'm saying? So that's not how I get down. I don't care who doesn't like that, but it's just that's not who I am. So I get a link. I guess it was a back chat. You know what I'm saying? And I got on a link, and there was a young a late. I wouldn't even say there was a woman there, very disrespectful. Even before I started speaking, all I heard was curse words. F this and F that and this and F that and that, and sticking into the drama. So I said to myself, So when I started speaking, she accused me of being ignorant. Like if someone says, have you seen the picture? I say, well, what particular pictures are you speaking of? You know what I'm talking about. And F this and F that and F. It got really ugly. Of course, I came out and I gave a little taste of my hoodness. You know what I'm saying? My hood. But then again, I fell back and I said, yo, listen, this is not productive. This is not constructive. I don't need this. This is the internet. Guarantee no one's going to come to my face in person and speak like that to me. I don't care, you man, woman, child. No way you are going to disrespect me. That you could bank on. That's a guarantee. Because I don't disrespect nobody. I don't speak like that. I don't be cursing out in the street like that. Once I did that and I got beat, I got knifed, I got cut because I was drunk and I didn't understand. Then later on, I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong. And I learned my lesson, yo, never do I go around cursing out loud. Never. Or on the internet, online, cursing at people. And this, that spiritual, I've spoken that before. That's spiritual detritus, that's spiritual caca, that's spiritual debris. That defecates on your spirit. That you can't inspire nobody with curse words. You cannot inspire anybody with nothing but curse words. That's not communication. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people that cannot communicate properly, that they use a lot of curse words. And so when I hear individuals like that, man, that turns me off. Really turns me off. I got to deal with it sometimes in my household. That totally is a turn off. That's an ugliness that comes out in a human being, an ugliness about them. So I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And I tell that even to Sarnetta or anybody. When you're going to come up here and you're going to start, I know what that is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no chump. I know what that is. But I'm going to tell you something. I stand firm, my feet on the ground. Ain't no way you're going to curse at me and think that I'm going to take that and not give you no damn pushback. You'll get definitely slapped up for that. We're going to go at it. I'm not afraid to put my duke. I'm not afraid of that. I don't have fear of that because I've done it. I've been victorious and I had my ass beat. Both. But I'm not afraid to tangle with anybody, even at 60 years old. That's not how I live. That's not how I do things. I don't go out there cursing and disrespecting anybody. And I expect that when I walk the street, you're going to respect and don't disrespect. And when I come on the YouTube, on platform, you're going to respect me because I don't go around YouTube cursing at anybody. You know what I'm saying? So seems to be this this harsh drama between, and it has to do. They say, you know, the picture, and it has to do with pictures of the lady, the sister in Nepal, right? Dominican sister in Nepal, who I happen to know, have acquaintance with. I really don't know her in person, but I have acquaintance. We supported each other. You know what I'm saying? You know, we had discussions with each other, even though we had fallouts here and there, but still, I respect, I honor, I respect, and I expect, and not that I expect, I know that you're going to respect me in return. I'm going to make sure you're going to respect me in return. And I don't have to curse at you. I don't have to curse. I'll have to give you that look, and I get ready. Once these glasses come off and they go in my pocket, you know what time it is, right? Because I ain't dumb. I ain't gonna put on my dukes and I got glasses on. I ain't dumb. Once time I take off these and put them in my pocket, you know what time it is. Well, you think you got it like that? Well, let's dance. Let's tango. Let's dance. Like I'm your nana used to say. Let's dance. Come on, let's do some dancing. Come on, let's do it. Let's do this. That's the way I am, you know. And the same thing on the internet. If you want to dance, well, let's dance scholarship. Let's see what you know. Let's see what you know. Let's see who has the honor, who has the profound honor here. You know what I'm saying? Who's in the right and who's in the wrong here? You know what I'm saying? So it goes about these pictures. And let me tell you something, man. The women body is the most beautiful thing that I know. I'm an aesthetic. I love the human body. I love the women's body. So for a woman, but the women have to be careful. If you're gonna put pictures of yourself out there, you just have to you have to take the consequences. It's gonna come back to you. And I'm sure you could speak to a lot of these Playboy bunnies and porno stars or whatever. You know, these things come back to their family, come back to them. If they're lucky, it does not. And they're able to continue their life. But I think the women's body is such a beautiful thing. So I don't think that because you're an Israelite woman, you should be out there showing your body. But if you do, it's a beautiful thing. I have no problems with that at all. No problems, you know, at all. You know what I'm saying? I could see a woman's body and say like, yo, I have found this for that. I'm like, yo, that's beautiful. Look at the curves on that. Look at that. Even if she's up there twerking, you're like, wow, she could sure move that thing. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. But again, if you're going to go out there and do that, understand the consequences. And see, I don't trust nobody. I don't believe in trust because they're going to mess it up. I'm not going to trust you with certain nude photos because I know you're going to show it. I know the human body, the human man. You're going to show it. Somehow it's going to be leaked. It's already leaked. Once the picture's taken, it goes into the camera, the photographer, it's already leaked. You can't stop it. You cannot stop that. You know, look what happened with Kim Kardashian with Ray J. You know, those sex tapes and Pamela, and you know, maybe they orchestrated that, but I don't know. But it still was leaked. You know, you're not thinking it's going to be leaked, but it's going to be leaked. So that's not the problem. The problem is the constant drama of that, bringing that up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in disagreements to that. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the drama, and I'll speak on it only once over here about sign that are having with JJ and airing out his thing with what he did to a woman. Well, if the discussion is going to be treating women, and women should not be treated a certain way detrimental, then it's okay to have discussions like that. But when it gets personal, you know what I'm saying? I think that you're treading off some fine lines right there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And this is to my Sicilian brothers and sisters. The Sicilians are not white people. They don't have, unless they have German phenotypes. But you look at the Sicilians, they're Berbers. They're mixed Berbers. You know, North African mixed in with Germans and mixed in with Phoenicians and so and so. You know, it's a European mixed, but they Berbers. A lot of them have this hook. That's a Berber nose. And the lip, and even the hair texture, they're Berbers. So that thing about Sicilians being white, no. Stop that. First of all, we're all humanity. Yeah, we got to be proud of our phenotype. We got to be proud of our race. Yes, but you have to transcend that also. You got to be proud of your race to say, I'm proud so I can contribute to humanity as a proud Black man. As a proud Hispanic Black man, I could contribute to humanity as a whole. And as long as everyone respects me, I respect everyone. Let's make respect a thing, a communication, a reality, back and forth. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be getting at each other like that. Well, yeah, you're right. They could have leaked them out themselves a lot of times. You know, it's not that it was just they leaked them out themselves. It was shared by the person to somebody else. That's what I'm saying. But in reality, what I'm saying is, if you're going to do that, right, then you got to take the consequences. Of course, you're gonna have, pushback. It's the age we're living in now. You're gonna have pushback. And showing no nude photos has been in existence even in Africa. It's been in existence. You go to the walls of Kemet and you see nude women playing instrument, nude women. It's a beautiful thing. But again, some use it to badger and to harm other people and to hang it that over their head. And we cannot get involved in that. I'm not in that at all. I'm not involved in that. So I had to make that clear. I had to make it clear. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I roll. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so that's discussions that's been having, and I think what's happening with a lot of the Israelite community is they hate it on certain platform. We're living in the fourth industrial revolution. There's so much information that has come out. Whose fault is that? That's so much information that's coming out. So questions on people's, because again, remember when we spoke about spirituality, and you see in the word inspire, spirit in this, inspire, spirit, aspiration. You see that in there, right? Spiritus, right? To inspire. So when you look at what inspires us, a lot of times there are people out there that are very, very conscious and accept only truth should be inspiring us to know the truth and to seek out the truth and to live the truth, not lies. So there are people invested. They invested time in that. You know what I'm saying? So the Israelite are being questioned. The Bible is being questioned. Christians are being questioned. Muslims are being questioned because a lot of times we see these inspirations that have been given to us as a people. We're seeing a lot of outcomes that has been detrimental to humanity. So we have to question it. We got to go back to the source, and you have to question it. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? This is light. This is things being revealed. Blame it on the fourth industrial revolution. Blame it on the idea that you can go on the internet and research so many things. Books that you couldn't read back then that was held in certain universities, books that you didn't have access to, and now you have access to on the internet. A lot of information you have access to on the internet. Whose fault is that? A lot of information we had. We were privy to know a man like Padnabaya Yananin who sent out students, sent out to come back with books, create an extensive library, books, and to study these books and to get to the source of this information. That's what he did. You know what I'm saying? And then question what's being read, question what's being written, question what's being said. You know what I'm saying? You have the right to reason things out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the pushback that a lot of, now is the thing between Kemetians. I'm not a Kemetian. No. I'm a Sabiic, Nuwapi, I'm a Nile Valley. Not only Nile Valley, I'm in Niger Congo. Niger Congo, Nile Valley, Niger Congo. That inspires me. The Ma Federation inspires me. I get to the center of it, the Ma Federation, that they call the Tanzanian Federation. You know what I'm saying? That inspires me. You know what I'm saying? And that deals with the Sabah. You know, Sabah as a city in Sudan, in the West Sudan area, there was a city called Sabah, which is the city that Christopher Columbus was looking for when he went into the Caribbean, because he knew these people was part of the Mali Empire. And remember, 2,000 ships, and some came out of that area. Some of the fundings, some of the shipbuildings, some of the fundings and navigators came out of that and spread that teaching all throughout the Caribbean, into Latin America, into North America also. You know what I'm saying? That's part of who we are. You know what I'm saying? So that's what inspires me. Music, the rhythm inspires me. That's my spirituality. What's my spirituality? It's the tones and frequencies in music. The tones and frequencies, my inspiration. That's my scholarship. You know, I was awarded a scholarship to study that. At the same time, since 9 years old. That's who I am. I cannot fight that. I have to accept that. You know, that's who I am. So when I'm listening to rhythms, and I'm listening to African rhythms or any type of rhythm from anywhere, to me, it's a language. I'm taking that in, and to me, it's like it's registering in me, and it's language. I either can mimic it, or I can enhance that already rhythm that's already in me by using those different skills around the world. You know, I study rudiments, traditional rudiments, paradiddles, double paradiddles, 5-stroke rolls, all of that. And I incorporate that science of rhythm, that science of rudiments into my playing and into my African playing also. It gave me new directions, new things to explore. There's nothing wrong with that. You see, that's how I vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's my spirituality. So I don't say I'm okay. I'm not Kemetian. Kemet was a marketplace. A lot of other tribes and nations went into Kemet and formed a marketplace. And then universities are out throughout all of Nile Valley. Sudan had more universities, centers, temples than they had in Kemet. Much more. I'm Kushite. My federation is also Kushite. Sabah stands all the way from West Sudan all the way into the southern part of Arabia into Yemen. You know, that's where I'm vibing at. My genetics DNA coding is Mali. All Mali. So, you know, Mali, Congo, and Benin. So that's that area right there. And then I trace that all back into the Maingala. Mande people, which mean children of the children of the Ma, which is Ma. And then today we say Ma, like mother, Ma. You know what I'm saying? Of the womb. You know what I'm saying? That's my spirituality. That's what inspires me, is the womb of the mother that inspires me, because in that womb, you see something taking place. You see triple darkness. You see consciousness. You see chemistry. You see physicality, and you see metaphysicality also taking place in that when it comes to the breath and the character and personality. You see all of that. And you see morals and ethics. The mother's the first one. Sabisu Campos said it. Out of the womb grows moral energies. Those kinds of energy out of the womb. That's how I vibrate. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's the same. It's okay. But that's my venue. That's where I'm at. It's the Ma. You know what I'm saying? And that also deals with Sabah. Became Sabah. Sabahian. Right? Ma, Sabah. You know what I'm saying? Sabah was the seven lineages, the kingdom that came out of the Kushite in that area. You know what I'm saying? And spread, became Bantu people. You know what I'm saying? And then sent into Mali. You know what I'm saying? That's where I resonate at. So to see, you know, that's what my spirituality is, to be calling me, you know, people try to always say, you Kemetian, you Kemet. You can't label me like that. You cannot. You cannot label me. I have respect for the Kemetic paradigm and the Kemetic culture, which was a combination of different cultures. And yeah, you had the Hyksos coming in there. You have Phoenicians. You have Berbers. North Africa coming into Kemet and taking a lineage, a house, a pharaoh house. And yes, I am family of the house of Sabah. I was giving a green. At the time, it was a house of bait, Ahl Bait from the Mahdi, but it all leads back into the family of the house of Yananin is the house of Sabah. You know, that's where all that leads to. So I have receipts. You know what I'm saying? That's not important. What's important is what am I sharing, right? That's important. What I'm sharing, and the wisdom that I acquired that we could draw knowledge out of. And the same thing I recognize all the other elders the same way. You know what I'm saying? So, this drama is going back and forth, man. I'm not involved in that. I'm not commissioned. You cannot label me. If you want to say, well, what are you? I'm Mangala. I'm a Saba, Sabian, Saba, Nuwapian, Nuwa from Napata to Old Moroy, all the way down to Sabah. That whole area, Nile Valley. You know what I'm saying? And then spreading into the Congo, spreading into Bantu, spreading into the Congo, Benin, and Mali. The Dogons came from the Nile Valley, and they taught astrophysics in the Nile Valley, and they held on to those keys. Then they say, well, if they knew so much about space and all that, why they're not ahead of the space age? How you know they're not? How do you know that NASA does not study? How do you know NASA does not send scientists and does not study the cosmology of the Dogon people? You ever asked that question? How do you know the idea of sending out shuttles, they need to coat it with that black melanin in the bottom because they understood the principles of how the universe worked in the womb. The womb of this solar system is the center of the galaxy, is the womb. And right now we're getting a lot of tonality, vibes, radio waves coming out of the center because, again, this is the ascension. And this is the ascension that's happening now. And we can't stop it. Yeah, they don't want to look up anything. They so complicit on believing the stories and the narrative and the story. They're caught up in the movie, in the scripture. They're caught up in the movie. And then again, these Israelites don't understand that Israel was a name that was given later on, okay, to a people, okay, that traveled even into the Nile Valley. When you look at the Elephantine village, so that area. When you look into and Kemet also, when you look at some areas, you see these Syrians. You see, people look at Syrian, they don't understand they were black Syrians, like they were black Sabaeans. So that means they also white Sabaeans or Caucasian Sabaeans. They look Caucasian. And Saba, Sabaean, when you get to Yemen and you get into Iraq and Iran. And also the Syrians were the same way. You have black Syrians. In Jerusalem, you have what they call black Jews there. You have people that are really melanated. I told you in Saudi Arabia, I met a young lady from Saudi Arabia. I had nothing to do with the United States. She's like a sister from Harlem. And she was from Saudi Arabia. Her family come from lineage, comes from Saudi Arabia. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful melanated sister. But so then you say to yourself, and with an afro. You know what I'm saying? So you say to yourself, that these black Syrians that came from Ur and Chaldea, these black Syrians that traveled were called Ibris people, but the Canaanites were also melanated people. You know what I'm saying? And Israelites, and the original Israelites were darker shaded people. What they call them Israel, but they weren't called by that name Israel. That happened later on. That's when they started to create their inspiration, their spirituality, that they looked at the ascension to the high El, Elyon El. So they became El, Ilah, Elohims. and that inspiration, that breath, that inspiration, that it was inspire them, the source. That's the name that they have for the source, was El, which was inspired by the Canaanites, Baal and the Canaanites. And those tribes that were in that area, because they amalgamated all those inspirations. They gained inspiration from a lot of the other civilization tribes in the area. So these people went into the Nile Valley and Kemet, and they stood on. Later on, there were stories. Okay, historians tells his story. His story. They're storytellers, historians. I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's the reality that they're into writing story. They tell stories. Sometimes the story can be twisted, can be polluted, unadulterated. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the story are just made up stories. You know what I'm saying? So that it can make they can make it more simple for masses of people to understand it. That's how they get down. Historians of stories. They invested time into many different stories. That's what historians do. Ask them. These are stories. Then you have what they call oral traditions, that you have griots in West Africa, and also you have musicians in the Congo that by learning how to play the rhythms, you tell a story with the rhythms. You know what I'm saying? You tell, okay, with that, looking at the star, looking at nature and telling the stories. So there's oral traditions that are passed down, right? So that's how historians had a problem with that, because they were looking for stories and trying to validate the stories. But a lot, they had a hard time validating the story because they were not craftsmen. You see, in order for you to be a true historian, you got to also be a craftsman. And that's a succession, a craft. That's like saying Freemasonry. The craft has to be passed down to you. And sometimes by you weaving the basket, there's certain oral stories to make you. And I don't remember when they were teaching you how to tie your shoes. I forgot how it says. And this piggy went around the corner, and it went around through. There's a certain story that you told when teaching your kid how to tie the shoe. Remember that? That's the same thing when weaving the basket. It's the same thing in making drums. It was the same thing as playing drums. You know what I'm saying? All dealing with iron. You know what I'm saying? There were traditions that were passed down to these craftsmen. So these were your orators, your oral traditions was passed down to your craftsmen. That's how it was done in Africa. And today it's done like that through the craft of Freemasonry. There's certain things that are passed down to you from mouth to ear. If it's a true masonry, you know what I'm saying? Not the clandestine, the true masonry will teach you knowledge from mouth to ear. That's a tradition, oral tradition that's passed down. Like I asked a brother the other day, do you remember what was whispered in your ear when you looked up and saw the charter? When the worshipful master had you through an elbow like this and accepted you and whispered in your ear and gave you the claw, the claw. You know what I'm saying? There was a word that was whispered in your ear that leads up to a sacred science. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go too deep into that because I don't want to give that away, because that's a sacred. You hold it secret because you hold it sacred. You hold it dear to you, because when others take this science and they take it, they can. In other words, if you're going to teach somebody how to make weaponry, but they're going to use the weaponry to make war, or they're going to use the weaponry to hunt and find game to sustain a village. It's two different things. Sometimes you have to preserve the knowledge that you have. And that's by sacred teachings, sacred writings, hieroglyphics, and also by oral traditions that are passed down from craft to craft, sometimes from family that are craftsmen, the blacksmith, the smith, on and on and on. Or the percussionist passed on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? So that's spirituality. That inspires me. That's what inspires me. But all this other talk about this drama that's going on, man. Rahubat to my brothers and sisters watching. Okay. Um, to actually engage yourself in some of these and you know why I'm sorry to say, I'm not sorry to say, but you know why this is happening, and it's so much disarray and so much conflict and drama. It's because they can't get to the source of it, and they can't get they don't accept the true the source of it all. They don't. That's been manifest through Panabayanani. You know what I'm saying? They allow themselves to get caught up in the whirlwind. Remember when we spoke about the circle and the dot in the middle? Remember that? That's in the hieroglyphics. Well, if you find yourself on the outer band, you can be manipulated. But if you center yourself, it doesn't matter how you move here, that center is going to remain the center. That's how you center yourself. So he's the kupt, the center, the axis. The kupt, the center, the axis. You know what I'm saying? So when you go out in the outer bands, you're going to be manipulated. You're going to be caught up in the whirlwind. And then, yeah, that spirituality, you're inspired, but you go caught up in that whirlwind. You can't fly over. You can't be in Haru or like Asar, a Messiah ship, and you can't ascend over this drama because you haven't centered yourself. In order for you to balance the wings of Ma'at, you got to center. What's going on, Coach Erica? Please. You have to center yourself. A bird that's centering gravity and levity, and that's centering itself, balance itself in order to fly over these storms and fly over this drama. You can't do it if you can't center yourself. And that's what's happening in a lot of the conscious community. It's just see the discord, whatever. They're being manipulated. And people know that we all manipulate, but they can't center themselves. They can't find the kupt. Kupt. And the center for us, the heart energy center, the heart. So therefore I say, when you deal with the heart, you deal with dance, music, you deal with that abundance. Man, that's how you center yourself, through dance. You center yourself through tones of music. You know what I'm saying? That expression, that the heart expressions, it's the center, the barrier. You know what I'm saying? They're not centered. Yeah, much respect to Love Land. Love Land. I haven't gotten on Discord, but I definitely got to go on to my Love Land people. Much love. Much love. Check out Coach Erica on Discord. Honeybees, Love Land. Great work she's doing. Check out also her podcast. Beautiful, beautiful work. But yeah, so recapping on Monday, this drama that's happening in our communities, especially in the internet community, it's a little redundant. And I stay away from it, and I've seen this also happen with my Boricua brothers and sisters and the platforms also that I used to frequently visit also. But then I said to myself, let me lay back a little bit and I dropped some jewels in there. Let me see how that takes. And then come back and see, did they progress from this? And I see some progressions. And some brothers are saying that, yeah, this and this and that. And they see their views going up. You don't have to be so detrimental. You don't have to be so antisocial to get your views up. You don't. There's a lot of platforms that got a lot. If that's what you live in your life about, there's a lot of platforms that got lots of views, especially when you go into these platforms, Harvard University platforms, or Congo Library of Congress, and you go to Black Magic's 363. Rich holds it down, and it's very educational, but he deals with the metaphysics. You know what I'm saying? Very, very educational. And you see that platform world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sanetta has a lot of views on his platform. He's done this for a while, and I noticed that when there's this thing going on with the platform, you don't see the views as much as when there's knowledge being shared. Whenever there's knowledge being shared, and if they're going to be detrimental, and like I said, I'm not engaged in those talks. I'm not engaged in that. And to my Israelite brothers, just like my Christian brothers, I grew up, my Israelite brothers, man, I love you too. I see where you're coming from, whatever. It's part of who we are. It's part of how they see us. But in the core of it, man, you're part of humanity. And if you engage yourself in this detrimental, having no morals, no character, you know, you know, belittling women, that's bad because you're belittling the womb of our creation. You know what I'm saying? Women are a beautiful thing. That's the womb. Our women are beautiful things. I kiss the ground my mother walks. I kiss the ground a woman that deserve it, that's acting like a womb, man, that you know that her womb is a nurturing and it extends the womb to everybody. Yes, Black Magic 363, check it out. He's got a lot of content. Very good, very good, very deep brother there. So when you have when you transcend the womb, because that's when nurturing happens, then you can nurture everything around you. But if you're a type of woman that is just engaged in, again, spiritual debris, dietrich, like curse words, negative words are spiritual debris. It harms your inspiration, your breath. It's you stink, you stink bomb the place when you do that. If you're gonna react like that, and that's the way you're gonna be, because that's the way I am, that's the way I grew up, and that's the way who cares? Then you know what? I stay away from me. You're not gonna get my support. I'm sorry. As humanity, there's that percentage, and you gotta say, you're not gonna get my support. And I don't need to respect or disrespect you. I just don't need to deal with you at all. At all. And I've been into certain podcasts. Let me tell you, certain brother curse this and that. And I'm tolerant of people's ways and different. But after a while, I said to myself, nothing you can do for that. Nothing. It's like, and I told this to the sister too that was speaking like that, very, very nasty. And I told her, listen, you go with that same type of verbiage. Yeah, they're projecting another, they're paying. But this is what can happen. They take that and they walk to the corner store and they act like that. Trust me, someone's going to approach them on that and it's going to get ugly. A woman that comes into a neighbor, a woman that goes into a store and all she's like, F this and F that, and this motherfucker, that, who got that, and does all that. Eventually it's going to be somebody like, yo, why you got to, what you saying? Who cares? What? You talking to me like that? I seen a lady like that cursing, acting belligerent, get shot by 22 in the grocery store in New York. And you know who shot her? Her brother-in-law. Her brother-in-law shot her with a 22. Why? He couldn't stand it anymore. That this girl was coming into the store and speaking like that and cursing everybody for no reason at all. That's the way you express yourself? Yeah. So you have a lot of pain and suffering inside of you, right? Well, listen, I'm here to tell you, you'll find if you want to be helped, you can help that. It's not going to make you tougher. It's not going to make you more respected. It's not. Trust me when I tell you, you're not going to be respected. It's not going to make you a better person or anything. It's going to put you in a situation that you may not want to deal with later or in a bad, detrimental situation. Right. Dignity is not part of a pop culture. But popular culture, why? Why can it not be? You know what I'm saying? We dictate. We dictate what happens in popular culture. Why? Who's creating, who's allowing this to happen? We are. We ourselves allowing this to happen. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take the responsibility within ourselves to change it. I have played with a pop group, the Backstreet Boys, Howie Doro and Wepa Band, Backstreet Boys Band. And we tour around in Argentina, been up to Paris, been places touring. And that's pop culture. You don't see people acting like that. No. I've been around hip hop all my life in clubs. And the only time you see that happen, a fight breaks out. Somebody gets shot, somebody get hurt. So it's not a normal thing. It's a thing that is coming to disrupt something normal. It's antisocial. It's going to cause a harm, you know. It's going to cause something detrimental. Lie, steal, all of that is engulfed in that. And that's not everybody. Yeah, we have to. We have to back it up, check it up. That is a fact. And it starts again with the person and then with your family and with the community because family makes up communities. See, that's where things went wrong. Is that families now has been so split up that they don't have now control of their community. They don't have families. In other words, you knew, in other words, in the town of Puerto Rico, in Calimano, Urbanación Calimano, in Maunabo, where my family is from, right? I lived at. We knew the neighbors. We knew that's the family Chola, Doña Chola, and we call them Doña or Don. Those are respected names for the elders. Don Pacho, Don Israel, or Doña Maria, Doña Carmen, Doña Gladys. We had name and we knew each one of the family that even marriage in the town was between families. And there was a community. When they started going out and marrying outside, if they bring them in and build a community, it was good. But when they started to go outside and not taking care of the community because the family structure was broken, Tribal make the families make the tribes, and tribes make villages and communities. You know what I'm saying? And those communities make cities and states. You go to a city, you have many different communities. And in the communities, they marry each other. You know, you had Italians marrying against Italians, a family against families. And they had their church, their prayer. You know, their place is a center. You know what I'm saying? They had their center, the church, Catholic Church. You know, you see this happening. We lost all of that. It's not done anymore. You know, and now because of the fourth industrial revolution, people are questioning a lot of these. And I'm like, you shouldn't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Even though if you throw away the narratives, a typical Christian narrative that has been a little detrimental, still in the Christianity, there's morals and ethics that help build communities. Why you want to throw that out? There are Israelites community, there are morals and ethics in the Islamic community that help establish that community. Somewhere down the line, yes, there were stories and things got twisted. So you got to weed out, like in Islam, you got to weed out the hadith, right? In Christianity, you got to weed out those historical stories. You got to weed out things that don't make sense. That's how I don't subscribe too much to what Paul had to say in the scriptures. No, I don't. You know, but if I'm looking at the New Testament as a play, right? Just like I look at Shakespeare, I can still extract morals and ethics, knowledge from Shakespeare, or from what is it? That book, Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland is a fantasy, but you know what the writer put inside Alice in Wonderland that they even study in college or in school, and they discuss that. You know what I'm saying? Of a lot of those principles in there that make you think, because there's morals and concepts in there. There's ideas and concepts that are benefit, make you think, and beneficial, right? You don't throw that out. You don't throw that out. But you have to build on that. And you have to constant change. Today with the fourth industrial revolution, we're getting to see a lot of things. So yeah, you know, as being a person that says, I'll tell you in a minute. Oh, the New Testament is made up. That's a play. You know, that happens with Josephus, whose name was Flavius Piso. The Piso family was like the Jackson 5 in music, and the Wayne brothers comedy with the Piso was like that in drama, in dramatic plays in Roman times. The Piso family were very known that they even so known that they became senators. A lot of them in that family, and they were historians, told stories and acts. Look at Josephus in the act. When you look at Acts, why name a book Acts? Act is a play. It's an act. It's a play. And then you have the revelation. You know what I'm saying? So being that I subscribe to that, and I've done the research, and I said, wow, this is made up. But still, it is a story that can teach you a moral. of moral. I love the movie Love Story, right? It's a made-up story. It's a love story. It goes back to Romeo and Juliet. But you learn something. You can still learn something from that. You know, Shakespeare, I read Hamlet back in college. You got Hamlet, Julius Caesar. These are stories. These are plays, acts. These are acts 1, act 2, and act 3, right? But you still can learn something from it. You know, you can still extract some morals and ethics from it. It's just don't get caught up in the story. See, we get caught up in the movie that we don't. A lot of times you ask a person, you watch the same movie with them, you say, well, what did you get out of the movie? What you learn out of the movie? You know? It was entertaining. I just entertaining. I didn't learn anything, is it? But there's a moral principles in there. I just watched Finch the other day. Man, there's something about the future was being told. The morals of human existence was being told. So you can have a conversation about that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good common practice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling people difference. I'm telling them what they read. I'm telling them what they want to call themselves. But again, you don't throw out, even today, if you look at what Christianity is doing for us today, and you see these neighborhoods around Christian church are being decimated, you see it going down, depreciating or whatever. But you can't throw out the fact that in the past, the Christian church was a foundation in the black paradigm, the black civilization here in America, and even in the Caribbean and in Latin America, all around the world. It became a center. You know what I'm saying? It's just like today. Sorry. Today it might have lost. You know what I'm saying? So how do we revive that? Well, that's when we speak about Patna Bayanana and the Re-Church of Karast. We revise those teachings. Now it's coming from a African spiritual and African inspiration teaching. Now I can open up the Bible and see it from an African perspective, or from an oral tradition, or from a Ma perspective. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to look at it the way the pastor has been trained in a seminary education, you know what I'm saying, and been programmed to teach it a certain way in order for him to get his 501c. You know what I'm saying? In order for him to keep his status. I'm not involved in that. You know, so I can go into the Quran and do the same thing. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? And that's the power that we all have. That's the power that we all have, you know. And so, you know, the point I'm making is that you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? So that you see this conflict going on within the conscious community. They say, oh, man, throw that Old Testament way, throw that New Testament way. That's garbage. Blah, blah, blah. No. Let's discuss it in a civil way, and let's take out of it something that's going to be beneficial for us. In order for you to tell a lie, you got to know the truth. And in truth, many lies can exist. When that truth is broken up, it becomes lies. Remember, lies is the unity. It's the unifying of all the pieces of the puzzle fitting perfectly together. The falsehood is the opposite. It's fractalized. You know, so you can take a whole truth, and you can fractalize it and get a lot of lies from it. Or you can take a lot of lies and put it together and make sure that it fits perfectly together and arrive at the truth. Get to the center of it, right? It's simple logic. It's mathematical. It's logic. You know what I'm saying? But when you get caught up, again, in the outer circle, and you get caught up in the drama, you know what I'm saying? You lose your way. Now you can't come to me and say, oh, I'm an Israelite, a true Israelite. You act like that? And you call yourself an example of what an Israelite should be, which means the ascension to El, the source of El, then I don't want it. You can keep that shit. I'm a Christian. You're a Christian, but yet you act like that? You got a voice like that? You speak like that? No. I'm a Muslim, and you talk like that? And you see people a certain way, and you do this, and you do that? No, I'm not rocking with it. I don't care. You call yourself Kemet. You Kemet, and you act like that because you wear an ankh around your neck. But look what you're doing, and you call yourself Kemetian. What kind of example is that? People are gonna see you by your example. You're similar. They're gonna see you by your example. You know what I'm saying? So it's building back up the again, build yourself back up, build your family back up. And if that doesn't work, a lot of times the family it's the hardest struggle. Once you overcome that struggle, um, then the community, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, now it's difficult because people live in conflict. The community is not as close as it used to be. We knew the neighbors, we knew the neighbor's mother, we took care of each other. But it's not like that anymore. It's not like that. It shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? It should be like that, but it's gotten to a point where we're losing community-based living, and those communities create cities. That's why cities has been taken over the administration and states. Right now, states are in a state of confusion. You know what I'm saying? The state are being, you know, compromised for a lot of things that are happening in all these states because these communities when a lot of times you have congress not congressmen representative councilmen that represent certain community but they're not representing the community the way it should be represented. You know what I'm saying? You have some congressmen, House of Representative that are community based. Like I love Alexandria Cortez because she does a lot of stuff with the schools and stuff. But they come to a point where they're going to be compromised because they need the participation of humanity, everybody else, everybody else. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. That was my Monday recap. Again, great work that they did in Pakistan with the African Kingdom Federation. Did work out there in Pakistan. It was great work that they did there, and the great work they're doing in the Congo, South Africa, Nigeria. Next week they're doing something in Nigeria. No, in Ghana. I'm sorry, in Ghana. But the Nigerian president is going to be present. There's a lot of great work, and we need to see a lot of good work done here. But the Sabaeans are always doing great work. I mean, right now, with the Sabaean, Wapi and Sabaean, a lot of the language is so important, which is something that I want to introduce to the African Kingdom Federation. But that's very tricky because, you know, um, you know, not everybody going to want to get aboard on that one because you have delegates from other different countries. You know what I'm saying? So right now, the English and the French is the prominent language right now that's being communicated out. So, but I would like to see an African language also being implemented as being the center of that particular communication. You know what I'm saying? It's an African language. And I roll with the Maande language, which is the Sabah language is part of the Maande language, a different dialect, a different dialect, you know. And to my Israelite brothers also, you got Paleo Hebrew, which is also comes from the Maande. You know what I'm saying? Look at the glyphs. You know what I'm saying? Look at the words. You know what I'm saying? And the Kemetic, the Metaneta comes from Maande. You know what I'm saying? The phonology, that's Coptic. The Coptic language in Ethiopia, Sabiic language, all those languages, you see the correlation. I would love to see that being more implemented as an international language. See, right now I'm rolling with the Sabiic as an international language, to communicate on the international. Right now, English and at one time it was Spanish, but now it's English and French. It's very international, spoken around, especially in Africa. Well, I like to see an African language, Lahaj language being spoken. That'll definitely be at the core of it. And that'll definitely be very, very important. Um, and that's to just, again, get to the center of things. So you're dealing with language, you're dealing with food, you're dealing with spirituality, you're dealing with all of that. That's getting to the center of it. I'm gonna leave it there, yo. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day out here, in North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful day. It's a spring day and it's hot. You know what I'm saying? And I see everybody else. See you in Loveland, Coach Erica. My aunt. I see you, my cousin Maria, Mary. Man, peace and blessings to everybody. And again, let's fly over this drama. So those of us that already have the capability of doing that can do it. And let's stay away from the drama. You don't need it. Don't get yourself caught up in the whirlwind. You know what I'm saying? If anything, center yourself. Be the center of it. Be the eye of the hurricane. Be the eye in the hurricane. Be the eye. You know what I'm saying? Okay? With all that said, peace and blessings. Best in all to you. All